Joe Versage. Our new sports. Roland is dedicated to being that role model.
Move your wrist as quick as you can.
America's pastime seemed trivial.
Look at him go up there. Oh my God.
Boxers have a choice. They can go outside the ring for private lessons. This game was personal, and for the winner went the spoils. For 4 weeks, RIT's hospitality and management program took to the historic fairways of Oak Hill Country Club, home to the 85th PGA Championship. Manual scorekeepers have plenty of fun keeping fans up to date on the tournament's leaders, but with Locust Hill's 18th fairway just a few feet away, it's important to stay quiet. The disability limits Chase the use of his legs, but it's never limited his desire to be an athlete. On the surface, Chase Lord is like any other swimmer, always trying to beat the clock. But deep down, he'd rather motivate his teammates to never settle for second best.
Stay in those lanes. Stay in those lanes.
It's been 5 years since Silver Stadium stood in this very place, but memories remain for those who spent time here. Cal Ripken played in just 114 games as a Red Wing, but his only season will forever hold a special place in his heart. The NFL's reaction to Tuesday's American tragedy was made clear by members of the Buffalo Bills, who are much more than just pro football heroes. They're husbands, fathers, sons, and in one case, an active reserve in the military. I'm Joe Versage at the Calder Cup Finals at the Blue Cross Arena, where the Rochester Amerks tried valiantly, but could not erase a 3-0 deficit this evening. The Rochester Amerks, for the second straight year, go down in the Calder Cup Finals and can only watch as their opponent hoisted the Calder Cup. From a personal standpoint, you played in the Calder Cup last year with Rochester Amerks, playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. It's not a bad ride for you.
No, it's pretty good. Last year I got a pretty good run with Rochester.
A big day for the Buffalo Bills. I'm here with wide receiver Eric Moulds. And Eric, it is a big day for them and a big day for you.
Oh, definitely. I think this is an opportunity for me to stay with a class organization, an organization that I was drafted with in 1996, and to get the opportunity to still continue to play for this organization and try to win a championship here is something that enticed me to stay.
There's so many words that can be said about the organization, but it is a new organization now with a new head coach, new assistant coaches. That had to play a big part in your decision. You were saying earlier in the day how much it meant to you to try to keep focused, not to go home and sit around, but to get right back on the racetrack. Your dad is always in your prayers, but you're moving on, and he would have liked that, right?
Well, I think he wanted to, he would have wanted us to race and concentrate and do the right things.
All week, Drew Bledsoe and his former coach downplayed the hype of the Bills and Patriots, but both made a point of not mentioning the other's name. Don't let them fool you. This game was personal, and to the winner went the spoil. Antoine Smith had 195 yards in the score last year in 2 games against the Bills. This time, 149 total yards, 3 scores. Never count out a championship team. At his football camp, Roland Williams stands by the motto, "It takes a village to raise a child." And this weekend, the former East High star is doing his part so that when the kids leave, they'll know how to expand and grow, not just in football, but in life. Things looked ugly early against Toronto. At 3:04 of the first, Steve Toll cherry-picked. The short-handed goal made it 1-0 Rock. This is not a replay, but it sure looks like one. Another short-hander, another goal for Toll, and the Orangemen fell behind 11-4 before rallying. Jerry McNamara on the 3-pointer, then Queth for Hakeem Warwick, a 17-0 run in the middle of the first half. Syracuse exploded from there. Carmelo Anthony beat the buzzer as the Orangemen outscored the Yellow Jackets 54-14 and led by 33 at the break. The Packers looking for more on the last play of the first half, but Antoine Winfield beheads Terry Glenn, and it was 3-0 at the break. And the Camps find ways to show their appreciation. This year's thank you was emotionally uplifting, as a young boy mustered the strength to offer a farewell gift to Rochester's most popular champion.
Those kids are just special. They're special to my heart.
We certainly hope you've enjoyed our news coverage of the 25th anniversary of the Rochester International. As always, Locust Hill was proud to deliver a memorable weekend. We'll show you the sights and sounds of an event that drew record numbers and crowned a new champion in 2001. He began his baseball career with a 1-season stop in Rochester at the age of 20. But Cal Ripken's connection to the city has roots that date back to his childhood. At the age of 8, baseball's Iron Man was a bright-eyed young boy who spent 2 glorious summers in the quiet town of Irondequoit.
As a kid, very early on when my dad managed there for a couple of years, that was one of the early times that I had real strong memories about where Dad was.
2 full seasons in one town was a rarity for Cal's parents, who rented a 2-story house adjacent to a sandlot. At first glance, this tiny lot at the corner of Culver and Avondale Roads doesn't look like a place for childhood memories, but for Cal Ripken, it served as a field of dreams back in the summer of '69.
We used to use the stone wall back there as the backstop.
With his father, son, and longtime friend by his side, Bill Lapple reflects back to the time when Cal and his 2 brothers were his best friends.
Freddie was the guy that would always get upset if he missed the ball, if he struck out. He was more of a crybaby type. He was younger, and he'd throw the bat down. Cal was more of the diplomat, you know. And then you had little Billy in diapers, who was really too young to play.
That was the first year for me that I really remember the summer. I remember playing in that lot, playing baseball, climbing that tree. I fell out of one of those trees.
30 years later, Avondale Field remains the neighborhood's prized possession, with yet another generation of memories being made.
Every Halloween, the kids come around, they ask me, did Cal Ripken live here? I says, yeah.
You know, I would really enjoy someday, if I ever get the opportunity, when his career is over, and to get together and just talk about this day, you know. Yeah. It would be nice to call him up in a few years or meet him at a sports banquet some night and say, hey, do you remember Avondale Road experience?
We felt that it was very important to let everybody know that we knew him and we liked him, and the field misses him.
Joe Versage, Our News Sports.
I think it's an incredible story. I got all this stuff. I've been talking to all these people.
Walworth resident John Steffenhagen is on a mission to stir up the echoes of football's past.
This one here is the actual 1925 photo of the Rochester Jeffersons. This is Leo over here as the manager.
The Leo Steffenhagen refers to is the late Leo Lyons, John's great-grandfather and a football pioneer, who turned a city sandlot team into one of the NFL's first franchises.
People in the family they knew that he had done this. They really didn't know the impact of what, I don't even think it went through, you know, my mom didn't even realize.
As a child, Steffenhagen stumbled upon a box of his grandfather's memorabilia.
These 2 here are 2 postcards from Art Rooney from 1974 and 1975.
It remained in the family home until John moved out, and it moved with him.
So this box, I had it for 20 years. It was around with me. I carried it around all over the place. I thought, you know, I should call the Hall of Fame.
What's very interesting about Leo Lyons is his love of the history, and that is something that even as recent as 30 years ago, there was not a lot of appreciation for the history of pro football.
As player, coach, and owner of the Jeffersons, Leo Lyons did all he could to promote fan interest. In Rochester, the Jeffersons played at 3 venues, including this field at Edgerton Park. Unfortunately, Lyons' dream come true was short-lived. Pro football in Rochester ended after 5 losing seasons, but his good friend George Hallis once said,
Leo with George Hallis.
Leo's loyalty never wavered, and neither has his grandsons.
It's been lost in time. I want to have the name Leo Lyons recognized. This is an incredible story, a part of Rochester history that nobody knows about, and what other way to do it than to just keep knocking on every single person's door here in Rochester.
Joe Versage, Our News Sports.